The lead is 15 for the Golden Bears over Arizona State. 37-22 is the score with just over 15 minutes to go in the game. Drew Andre and Cole Feinblum with you. Cal checks it out underneath. Full court pressure from the Sun Devils. Full court man-to-man, that is. Now looking to trap a little bit in the backcourt. Mullins handles. Pass over to Sam Singer, who just checked into the game. Also checking in with Steven Domingo. The other side for ASU, Ramon Vila checks into the game. Cameron Rooks also for California. Jabari Bird handles the ball on the wing. Now back up top to Singer. Screen coming from Rooks. Drives to the right. 5 on the shot clock. Can't go up. Throws it away on the other end. Here comes Shannon Evans. Goes up with his right hand. Gets the contact and the foul. He'll go to the line for a pair of free throws.
Yeah, look for the Sun Devils to start forcing the tempo a little bit on the defensive end. They're going to start pressuring up a lot higher than they have been, as you saw there. They came into the pressure. They tried trapping up top. But then they're going to start picking up in man way up high. They've been kind of sitting back on the defensive end inside the three-point line. Now they're going to start pressuring. As you saw, they forced a turnover there deep in the shot clock. And that's what they're going to need to do to start clawing back into the game here.
Shannon Evans makes the first free throw. As Cole mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he is leading the Pac-12 in free throw percentage, just about 86% from the free throw line. And he drains the second free throw as well. He now has 8 points in the game. Here's the full court pressure from ASU. Cross court pass from Mullins over to Domingo. Now it's Singer, right back to Domingo. They're trying to go inside to Rooks. Guarded by Vila. Picks up his dribble. Kick over Mullins. Now back inside on the left-hand block. It's Rab. Back out Mullins. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Domingo drives. Kick out 3. There's Mullins wide open. Yes, sir. Mullins make it 4 for 4 from behind the arc. All 12 of his points by the 3 ball.
That was a good defensive possession. It just came down to the final swing where Cal was able to get that open look, but they were playing well down low. Vila was guarding Rooks strong in the post, and a good help side from Cody Justice. Just that final rotation, they couldn't get across quick enough.
8 seconds on the shot clock for the Sun Devils. Torian Graham looks to go isolation. Goes up with his right, throws it up. No good. Rattles it and then out. And Mullins comes up with the rebound.
Empty possessions are going to start killing the Sun Devils this deep in the game, trailing by 16. They're going to need to start getting some shots to fall outside of the key.
14 minutes to go. Ivan Rabb down low, guarded by Vila. Kick over Singer. Now inside, back to Rooks. Fouled hard by Ramon Vila. And the 7-footer will get to the free throw line.
Good patience from the big man. Sense that pressure coming. 2 men, Cody Justice and Ramon Vila. Held on, waited for the men to go up. Then he came up as they were going down, drew the foul, and he'll go to the line. As Charlie Day comes back into the curtain as Green Man once again.
You can hear in the background, the Always Sunny in Philadelphia music playing. Cameron Rooks, just a 52% free throw shooter. He makes the first one. Odd side spit on the ball there, but goes in.
That was ugly. Not sure how it worked, but that was ugly.
He did his job there. Some substitutions on both ends. Charlie Moore checks back in, along with Jabari Bird for California. Rooks, the second free throw. Misses off back iron. Oleka comes up with the rebound. His 9th board of the game.
50% success rate for Charlie.
Evans drives, kickoff Oleka, two-handed slam.
Shannon Evans is the reason the Sun Devils are still somewhat in this game. No one else is getting inside the lane, which is usually a quality of Trey Holder, whom we haven't seen a little bit in this half, but Shannon Evans is doing his part.
Charlie Moore to handle the point. Here comes a screen from Rab. Moore decides not to use it. Evans guarding Moore. Now inside Rab. He has Villa on the post. Kick over 3, Domingo. Not even close. It's no iron, but Jabari Bird right there to pick off the offensive rebound, and then goes right back up for the score.
Villa lost his position early on in that possession. He was on the outside of Rooks that whole time.
Shannon Evans, deep 3 from the left side, no good. And Domingo comes up with the rebound. 43-26 the score, just under 13 minutes to go in the game. Moore drives over to Rab. Baseline jumper, no good. And then a foul is called after the shot. It's going to go against Ramon Vila. Or excuse me, it's going to go the other way. It was on Cameron Rooks, who down low pushed off a little bit as he was trying to get the rebound. Now Rooks will check out of the game.
ASU is shooting 1 for 15 for 3. A team that's known for their perimeter shooting is 1 for 15 on the game. That is an unbelievable statistic. 6% from beyond the arc.
That's almost hard to do, Cole. And we talked about when the game started, well, what's one thing they're going to have to do if they want to win this game against Cal? They're going to have to shoot the ball well. Not seeing that today. They're still playing pretty gritty defensively, but we're seeing the separation as Torian Graham launches again from outside, make it 1 of 16 from behind the arc. California pushing. Mullins, open 3. Yes, 5 for 5. Are you sure his last name's not Mullen? He's looking like Chris Mullen out there.
Grant Mullins. He's unbelievable. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. That is unbelievable. And also, he scored his 1,000th point against ASU in their first matchup. He's been lethal since he was in Columbia. He was a deadly threat in the Ivy League.
Some good passing from Arizona State, but Oleka misses the left-handed layup, so Cal gets the ball back.
That's the third open look down low that Oleka hasn't converted on. It's just that type of day for the Sun Devils where nothing is going.
Right screen coming from Rab. Moore uses it, drives down the lane, and gets fouled by Cody Justice. He'll get 2 free throws as he went up with his right hit. And now we're going to have a timeout on the floor. Cal starting to pull away a bit. 46-26, their lead is 20 with 12 minutes to go in the game. You're listening to Blaze Radio online. Hunter Bishop get things going for the Sun Devils. The dangerous freshman hit a long home run in his last plate appearance over the right field wall. As Jacob said, the longest home runs, arguably the longest home run he's ever seen hit here. Well, Bishop, he's 2 for 2 today. This is his third plate appearance. First pitch misses outside from Darren McCacken, who does remain in for the 7th inning. However, right now, 2 guys warming up over in the Dirtbags bullpen. But just 84 pitches so far for the ace of this Dirtbag staff. Bishop takes a big swing, barely gets a piece of it.
Bishop's one of the few guys in this lineup who's had success against McCacken. Two for 2, I mean, thus far, as you said, Drew. So, I mean, another nice showing from the freshman. Only 13 at-bats, but he's got 6 hits this year.
Drops that one to first base. Jackson will take care of it. Step on the bag for the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning. If you're just joining us, first inning was the big one for Long Beach State. They brought in 5 of their 6 runs. Then nothing until the Sun Devils scored 2 of their own in the 5th. And then the Dirtbags were able to answer with 1 run in the 6th. So that's where we are right now. 6-2 is the score. As McEwen comes to the plate for the Sun Devils. McEwen struck out in his first plate appearance and then reached on a walk in his last. Sun Devils with just 4 hits in tonight's game. Kakin has been doing his job. That one misses low.
McEwen started a mini threat that the Sun Devils had back in the 5th with a walk. See if he can do the same thing here.
Two-one. Drops that one. It gets over the third baseman Romano's head. And then Montalago wasn't able to gather it either.
So it'll be a nice piece of hitting there with one out as McEwen gathers his first hit of the night. So that'll be Zach Serbo who garnered a hit in the 5th inning. Is a lefty and a righty up in the bullpen for the Dirtbags. First pitch to the catcher. Misses low. In Serbo's other plate appearance tonight, he popped out to left field. McEwen over at first. 1-0 pitch. That one barely misses. McCacken now into the 90s with his pitch count. Hitter's count right here for Serbo. 2-0. That one catches for a strike.
It's been this bottom of the order of Bishop, McEwen, Serbo that's done the damage against McCacken. They have 4 of the 5 hits. All 3 of them with at least 1 hit in this game.
That one's going to get into the gap and right center field. Trying down to third is McEwen. It'll be a stand-up double for Zach Serbo, his 2nd hit of the game, and it couldn't have come at a bigger time.
You got to wonder if that's it for McCacken.
And here comes Troy Buckley. Hasn't motioned over to the bullpen quite yet. Until now. He's going to bring in the lefty to face the lefty, Jackson Williford, and the top of the order when we get back right here on Pac-12 Plus.
Ain't it sad? And still there never seems to be a single penny left.
Money, money, money. That's what Rory McIlroy walks away with. $10 million payday. Add on another $1.5 million for winning the tournament, the Tour Championship. And a very wealthy man, Rory McIlroy is. Drew Andre, Cole Feinblum with you this week on tour. We were just talking about Tour Championship for the break, but Cole, can we talk about the money these guys are making from this weekend?
It's only a $10 million payday.
Unreal.
Or actually, what was 13 for Rory?
So Rory, it's going to be less than that, I think, that he walks away with, right? Because I believe the tournament was just under $2 million for the win. We'll have you look it up right here. But I'll throw a little something else at you. Rory couldn't have finished 2nd in the FedEx Cup standings when he went to the playoff. He was either going to be 1st or 3rd. If he got the win, he'd finish 1st. If he lost to Ryan Moore in the playoff, he'd end up 3rd overall, and someone else would step into that number 2 spot. What that meant would be a $9 million difference. $9 million difference between him winning or losing to Ryan Moore. So you could look at one putt, $9 million.
It was an $11.5 million payday.
Okay.
So it was $1.5 mil for the tournament
Perfect.
and then just $10 mil for some reason for the FedEx Cup.
See, winning the FedEx Cup, what that tells me is maybe it's not the player of the year who wins, but, I mean, you could say you were the best golfer in that year. Clearly, not necessarily the best golfer in the world. We've seen players that just got hot at the right time.
really that was the case for Rory McIlroy, not necessarily his best year. What I found pretty amazing is that he entered the FedEx Cup playoffs ranked in the 30s. So he wasn't even, if they started right away with the Tour Championship in the top 30 entering the FedEx Cup playoffs, he wouldn't have even been in sight. He goes into this tournament ranked 6th in the FedEx Cup standings. Well, now you know what happens. Moves up 5 spots, finishes number 1 overall. But Cole, let's talk about Dustin Johnson. And I think going into this weekend, I think you and I both believe there's no reason Dustin Johnson won't win this. He doesn't necessarily have to win the tournament, just has to have a decent chance of finishing high. And he had a lot of things going his way. I mean, it came, like I mentioned, it came down to Ryan Moore and Kevin Chappell. If either of those guys won, it wouldn't be enough to take down Dustin Johnson. All he had to do going into the final round was shoot even par, and he would basically walk away with the $10 million prize. And for them, it's not as much that $10 million because they have plenty of money, but it's that title of being the FedEx Cup champion, which they consider the likes of winning a major. Final round 73. That's after opening round 66, then a 67, a 69 on Saturday, 73, 3 over par on Sunday.
We went back to the past.
I know.
It's old Dustin. We thought we were moving in a different direction, and then 4th round collapse.
Yeah, and I almost hate saying that because he's proven so much this year, but it's a 4th round collapse. I mean, you can't ignore that happened. Of course, you can't always have a good day. That's the bottom line, but if you really want to be the best, if Dustin Johnson wants to go higher than number 2 in the world, he wants to be the number 1 golfer in the world, you can't have those collapses. You don't see that out of Tiger Woods. Honestly, you don't really see that out of Rory McIlroy.
The only thing I can think of relatable at recent past is the Spieth collapse at the Masters.
It's true. Yeah.
Spieth and Willett. But the difference here, I think, is that Spieth is probably 98% consistent, and that 2% is that collapse.
True.
DJ's had that past history where you can maybe think, well, it's like 60% of the time he's unreal, but 40% of the time, it's you never know what you're going to get.
And if you're watching the end of his round today, it was clear he kind of lost his mojo. I mean, starting with the U.S. Open and maybe even before, Dustin Johnson looked like one of the most confident players out there. Not only by his driving, but he was feeling good putting the ball, and that came all the way up until last week. Today, he kind of seemed deflated a little bit, and it's not really a good sign for the U.S. heading into the Ryder Cup. Again, though, one bad day, and so I don't want to get too caught up on that because we look at Rory McIlroy, who was the champion. He didn't get off to too hot of a start. First round 68, very solid. Second round 70, so just even par. At this point, he's only sitting 2 under par going into the weekend. In his final 44 holes, 13 under par. That is unreal. East Lake is not an easy course. I mean, if you're watching this on TV, you can tell how narrow those fairways are. You have to be driving the ball perfectly, a lot of undulation on those greens. You have to be doing everything right. And the fact that Rory McIlroy had a final round 64, that Ryan Moore also had a final round 64, and a putt that could have given him a 63 and won the tournament, pretty incredible. Paul Casey, another 64. So the scoring was there this weekend. Not for Dustin Johnson, but I don't think we could have asked for anything more exciting, Cole.
No, it definitely, the biggest tournament at this time did not let us down. I mean, for $10 million, we got to expect something to happen, and they played like $10 million was on the line, that's for sure. We've been harping on it, but that playoff was unbelievable. That's the most exciting golf we've seen in quite a while.
It was, and I feel like we just keep on saying that because there's really almost no other way to describe it.
I think people are forgetting that there was a tournament played for those 4 rounds before they play off. I mean, who's talking about that? Who's talking about Dustin Johnson right now?
No, yeah. I mean,
they're talking about Ryan
There was
Moore.
a reason it took until our second segment to even mention it.
Yeah, they're talking about Ryan Moore and Rory McIlroy. And even Kevin Chappell. He's fallen into the past because that first playoff hole seems like a lifetime ago.
And we're going to talk about this later on in the show when we get in to the Ryder Cup and those implications. But the way Moore and Chappell played, there's no reason one of them can't be that last pick for the Ryder Cup, which is actually coming up at halftime
for Sunday Night Football, Cole. I don't know if you saw that, but that's when it's going to be released who the final captain pick.
I like that little,
For the Ryder Cup.
cross-platform advertising there from NBC.
It is. No, it really is. And also another thing that I really enjoyed today, 3 hours, which ended up being 4 hours, commercial free, thanks to Coca-Cola.
Shout out Coca-Cola.
I think that makes a big difference. I mean, when
It's
you're
a
watching,
refreshing change of pace, if you know what I mean.
and I've seen articles about this in the past, and maybe something we get on to in future weeks and in the thick stuff, but lately, when you've been watching major championships, you're seeing a lot of commercials. That's been some big flack that Fox has received since they've taken over the U.S. Open. And I think this was great because, especially in an exciting finish like this, I know I was glued to the TV. I couldn't leave. I couldn't get up. I had to go to the bathroom while they were walking to their ball on the first playoff hole because there was no commercial breaks. You just had to get in, get out, and that kept me glued to the TV, and I think it kept even the casual golf fan glued to the TV.
I think anyone who kind of stumbled upon it, because, it's competing with football on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone's flipping, they got to go from CBS to Fox. Usually in between there is NBC on most TVs.
Yeah.
If they somehow stumble upon NBC and see, what's going on here? They're not turning that channel.
No. And then you never get an opportunity, too, because there was no commercial break. So I really loved seeing that, and I think this was a big weekend for golf.